Okay, going live. Podcast 3, January 29th, 2023. So today's podcast is intentional community, which hopefully will be an international community also. So, this system, present government is really beyond fixing, beyond repair. We can devote a certain amount of our energy to working from the inside to try to correct the system. Basically, I think, and I see the only cure would be to go back to the Constitution, make it an improved document, make it a complete document, and create laws that will not ever violate all of the Bill of Rights and the premises in the Constitution, because that will result in a truly legitimate government. So, as for the rest of our efforts, I think we really need to put our energy into building a parallel system of intentional community that functions as an extended family, a tribe, our tribe. So, the evil communism machine will devour us and itself if we do not act against it. So I'm going to give you a lot of intel today. We have at our fingertips a still working example of a community, an intentional community, that would really be number one in everybody's face on the world stage as an example for a perfect sustainable community. And it's called Gaviotas, and they've been around for 40 years in Colombia. They have two rules: no dogs, no guns. And the reason they have no guns is because they live in a war-torn country where there's lots of factions, lots of sides, lots of this, lots of that. Everybody's, warring and trying to get the upper hand. However, if you don't have guns and you keep a neutral space, everybody seems to leave you alone. And that's what they wanted. That's what they needed and intended. No dogs, because dogs, create way too many issues. And my dog, takes away the attention that people need to devote to themselves for self-realization. So if you're going to give quality attention to something, let it be yourself and or another person of value, not a dog. Okay, so Gaviotas is an amazing community. Here's their book detailing basically how they live, how they set up, how they organize. And their key principles are this: they let the best and the brightest rule. They let the best and the brightest invent innovations, improve technology, existing technologies, and create non-existent technologies that are much better than anything on the books presently anywhere in the world. For instance, somebody saw the kids playing on a teeter-totter and said, well, hey, there's the perfect free energy for a water pump. So they decided to hook up the kids' teeter-totter to a water pump, and guess what? The kids are the energy for the water pump. Kind of basic, kind of brilliant, kind of obvious if you take the time to observe. So, at any rate, they had become so relevant. They went to the UN, they've been on the world stage. They were actually being held up as an example of a way to sustainably inhabit the world and save the planet from itself and all of its debauchery and non-sustainable ways. And then came along a drunk named President Bush, and he decided that, we really can't have anything threatening the oil cartel, so we're going to dismiss these guys and put them in the back seat. And that's what they did with Gaviotas. So that's why Gaviotas is not a well-known world organization, as it should be, because Bush scrunched it just as they were rising to the headwaters of their success and worldwide acknowledgement. So what they did was they ended up moving into a piece of land that was considered by agriculturalists and farmers as uninhabitable and useless land. I guess the soils were so alkali that nothing could grow there but grass. It was a grassland. And so arid that, wasn't enough precipitation for plants. So what they did was they went ahead and planted pine trees. And pine trees shed a lot. They shed organic, acidic, nutrient-rich needles, and that fertilized the soil so that they could then plant their secondary crops, fruit trees and vegetables and corn and all the other things that you might want to grow so you have food. And then that provided enough nutritious soil that they went ahead and started planting native jungle plants and trees again. And those plants also moved in voluntarily because they had a fertile position in place to do so. As they did that, naturally, microclimates create their own weather. So precipitation kicked up because there were more plants holding water in the soil. So an easy way that you can fertilize soil anywhere in the world is by adding organic matter. Straw is one of the most perfect organic matters to add because it has all the microbiology critters in it that bring soil back to life. So if you have some crappy soil, you want to improve it and turn it into really rich food-producing soil. You can do that very easily just by adding straw, maybe 3, 4, 5 times a year. You can till it into the soil initially, and after that you can just lay it on top. And as it rots, it will fertilize everything and turn crappy soil into very good soil. So that's a little hint for your expertise if you're a gardener. So what's really cool about gaviotas is not only did they figure out that the way to run people is to let people run themselves. You let people work on what they absolutely love to do, their passions, and then you put the people that have the same passion together, and they form their own little council, and their own little council comes up with all the brilliant technology and inventions and theories that need to be invented. That's just how it is. So rather than having a central government per se of a hierarchical order, they let the hierarchical order be those who are the best and the brightest in their fields run their departments. And boy, it worked out really splendid. So these guys are so cool that they took all their technologies and all their inventions, they put them on the web. You can get them for free, okay? They give their technology away rather than patent it. They give it away so anybody can duplicate it anywhere in the world. And boy, if that's not a win-win situation, I don't know what is. So for what we're doing here in Tucson and eventually in Mexico and hopefully other continents, we really need builders and buyers. We need people to help us buy the acreage around us, put in 2 community centers, one for dedicated to Kriya Yoga, initiation and practice, and the other to be a national and international space to have world leaders come and give talks, and leading edge scientists share their knowledge, and leading edge doctors to share their knowledge, and leading edge gurus to share their knowledge. So this is what we're looking for. So any of you that can help us, many blessings and thank you. And any of you who want to come join our party, most welcome. We are looking for the best and brightest because we're going to let you lead your department into what your field of expertise is, what makes your heart sing, and see if we can't build a better world. So I really think building an intentional community, a parallel self-government run by us, for us, living by our real laws rather than man-made statutory governmental laws, I think this provides a solution to go ahead and make this all work for us. So this podcast is going to be a little short because the next one's going to be a little long. And you're going to like the next one if you're into a whole lot of knowledge and the dirty government and the not conspiracy, but not the theory, but the actual conspiracy. That's where we're going next in podcast 4. But in the meantime, we have resources and we have a few super people involved with making this world a better place. One of them is Raven of Shambhala. I give you her name, Raven of Shambhala. You can look her up on YouTube. She's a galactic antenna into the realms of space and science and spirituality. She has a system for decoding what gods, spirits, ancestors, etc., that she's speaking to, what density they're at, what dimension they're at, and she can answer basically for you probably any question you can think to ask her. And she's available by phone. You can look her up at lightbody.com, Raven of Shambhala at lightbody.com. And a very, very beautiful soul, very advanced soul. I don't know of anybody on this planet who's more advanced than her presently. Very evolved, very enlightened. Then, you need to stay informed what's going on in this world, and you're not going to get it on ABC News or CNN or any of the other fake bullshit. Where you can find the juice is on the X22 report. That comes out probably 5 days a week, and oftentimes very, very, very constructive information there. You have Mike Adams from Natural News, who is an absolute genius. I can't speak highly enough about him. The guy's probably intellectually about the brightest cat I know. And he hangs out with all the brightest cats he knows, men and women, and doctors and scientists and economists, and he interviews them. And he comes out with a podcast about 3-4 days a week, and he's just brilliant. He's one of those guys who just cannot get enough knowledge, okay? Just cannot get enough knowledge. He's so thirsty for knowledge. It's a beautiful thing, much like myself. So he's very well informed, a little bit of an alarmist on occasion, but nonetheless means well, head in the right place, heart in the right place, and you might find him very helpful to keep your ear to the ground as to what's really going on. Then there's Jeffrey Prather, good man from Tucson here, just recently moved to another state nearby. And he used to be a government spook in the every sense of the word. Worked for DEA, FBI, et cetera, all the nauseating shit. And when ATF came around and started running guns to the Sinaloa drug cartel, he got a little pissy about that. And he blew the whistle on Eric Holder and the feds and the ATF, and they really didn't like that, so they came climbing all up his backside to see if they couldn't take him down. And he sued him, took him to court. He won, and they lost. And now he says he's our intelligence officer, and he's our a freedom fighter. So he's an interesting lad. I like him a lot. He's a good guy. He knows war implicitly, and he knows that we really don't want to have to go into kinetic war, though may not be avoidable. But in the meantime, he is running people, organizing people to organize themselves. And you can join Team America via the Prather Point, Jeffrey Prather Point, and speak with him and find out who in your local area is organizing people to be preppers and to keep their ear to the ground and know what's going on. So he's a very useful podcast. It comes out about 3 or 4 days a week also to pay attention to what's going on. And he has a unique insight because he's been on the inside watching all the spook games that the government plays. And so he interprets the CIA moves quite well and definitely a advanced perspective. So again, Jeffrey Prather with the Prather Point, Natural News with Michael Adams, and X22 Report, Raven of Shambhala at lightbody.com, and there you have it, okay? So, many blessings. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you enjoy my podcast. Hope you enjoy reading Kingdom of R.A.M. and what it is we're looking to do. Once we get our U.S. situation set up, we want to build a sustainable community in Mexico and then maybe Brazil and Africa. So these are the big things we want to do. We want to show people that we can live sustainably in this world, have a beautiful, perfect, healthy life, respect the planet, respect the wildlife, grow our own food, have tropical orchards for generations and swim in warm tropical oceans, live a really good quality life, and not have to destroy this little island called Earth that we live on. So, again, thank you.